All right, get ready. We're going deep on data quality specialist interviews today.
Ooh, yeah.
If you've got an interview coming up,
Mm,
we're going to make sure you are totally prepped. We're digging into RoleCatcher's resources, career guides, interview guides, and even how their AI can help you really stand out.
because you know it's all about being prepared, right? Not just for the questions you're expecting,
Right.
but for those curveballs.
I
The ones that really test what you know and how you solve problems.
Exactly. We're going to break down some of those tough questions,
Yes.
give you the tools to impress those hiring managers. But first,
Yes.
let's back up a sec. What does a data quality specialist even do every day?
Okay, so think of it like this. You're the guardian of a company's most valuable thing, their data. You're making sure that data is accurate and reliable, used ethically and effectively to drive those big business
It's a
decisions.
pretty important role then.
It's critical, and it's only becoming more important as companies rely more on data for basically everything.
And that shows in the career path, right? I mean, the
Hmm.
RoleCatcher Career Guide shows you can go from data quality analyst all the way up to being a manager.
Absolutely. There's so much room to grow in this field, which is why it's attracting so many talented people. But you've got to ace that interview to land your dream job.
Right. Okay, let's dive into the questions. First up, a classic. Can you explain your understanding of data quality and why it's important in a business? It might seem basic, but it's your chance to prove you get the big picture.
Yeah. It's not just about defining data quality. It's about showing you get how it affects the real world business impact.
Hmm.
Think about how bad data impacts decision making, the risks of not complying with data privacy regulations like GDPR, how bad data affects customer experience.
So instead of just saying data quality means accurate data,
Yeah.
you need to go deeper. Paint a
Mhm.
picture for them. Show them you understand what happens when data is bad and how your role stops those risks.
Right, exactly. For example, let's say you're interviewing at an e-commerce company. You could talk about how inaccurate product data can really frustrate customers, lead to more returns, and actually lose the company revenue.
Yeah, or flip that around, talk about how good data quality can mean better targeted marketing, better insights into customers, and a more successful business overall.
Totally. And they might follow up with something like, can you give me a specific example of a time you had to improve data quality? This is where you get to show off your skills and experience.
Have a story ready. Think of a time you found and fixed a data quality issue. Walk them through what you did, the tools you used, and how it helped the business.
And don't forget to put some numbers to your results whenever you can. Numbers really make an impact. Did you reduce errors by a certain percent? Did you improve efficiency by a certain amount? Make sure you highlight your wins.
Okay, next question. How do you ensure data quality in your work? This is where you get into your process.
Think about the tools you use: data profiling, data cleansing, data validation, and give them real examples of how you've used those in different situations.
Don't just list off a bunch of tools, show them you know how to use them effectively.
Right, and they might even ask you to walk through a scenario. Like, imagine you're dealing with a data set that's missing a ton of values. How would you approach cleaning and validating that data?
Be ready to think on your feet and explain your thought process. They want to see how you solve problems.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI is super helpful. You can practice your answers, get feedback on how to make them even better, and even analyze practice videos to make sure you're coming across confident and prepared.
It's like having an interview coach right in your pocket, helping you tailor your answers to the specific company and role you want.
Exactly. Okay, next challenging question. How do you prioritize and manage data quality issues? This one's all about juggling those priorities and making tough choices under pressure.
So have a system in mind for how you approach that kind of situation. Do you use something like an impact urgency matrix?
Right. Show them that you can assess how bad an issue is, what impact it could have on the business, and how you figure out the best way to handle it.
And don't forget collaboration. Data quality is rarely a one-person job. You'll be working with different teams and people to fix things.
Totally. They might ask you, tell me about a time you had to work with someone difficult to resolve a data quality issue. Have a story ready that shows you're good at communicating, finding solutions that work for everyone, and staying calm under pressure.
Okay, next question's about staying current. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies in data quality management?
This field is always changing, right? So you need to show them that you're always learning, always looking for new knowledge and skills.
So talk about those blogs you follow, conferences you go to, online courses you've taken, anything that proves you're committed to staying ahead of the curve.
And don't be afraid to get specific. If you just read a great article about a new data quality tool or technique, mention it. It shows you're actually interested in what's going on.
Okay, Moving on to a question that can be tricky. How do you ensure compliance with data privacy regulations? This is a huge part of data quality management, especially with regulations like GDPR and CCPA becoming so important.
It's not enough to just say, I know what GDPR is. You need to show them you understand how these rules work and how they affect your everyday work.
Talk about specific things you've done to ensure compliance, like data protection impact assessments, putting data access controls in place, or giving privacy training to your team.
And be ready for those what-if questions. They might ask, imagine you're working with data that has sensitive customer info. How would you make sure you're complying with GDPR?
Walk them through your process, show them you pay attention to the details, and that you're committed to handling data ethically.
And remember, data privacy isn't just checking boxes. It's about building trust with customers and keeping their information safe.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but let's squeeze in one more question. This one's about your tech skills. Can you describe your experience with data profiling and data cleansing?
Time to show off those hands-on skills. Talk about the tools and methods you've used for data profiling and cleansing. Have you used SQL Python? Specialized data quality software?
Give them a peek into how you work. How do you find and fix data inconsistencies? What do you do to make sure the data is accurate and complete?
And again, don't be afraid to get specific. Talk about the tools you've used, the techniques you've applied, and the results you've achieved. They want to see that you don't just know the concepts, you can put them into action.
All right, that was a lot of tough questions, but we're just getting started. Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll tackle even more interview challenges and figure out how to really make you stand out from the crowd.
Back again, still going strong. We're deep diving into those interview questions that can make or break your shot at being a data quality specialist.
Right. You've got the knowledge, the experience. Now you've got to show it off and impress those hiring managers.
Okay, let's jump right back in. Here's one that tests if you really understand core database concepts. Can you explain how you ensure data integrity in a database?
Sounds technical, but it's more about proving how to keep the data accurate and consistent inside those systems that are like the backbone of any data-driven company.
Totally. Think about referential integrity constraints. Those are rules that keep relationships between tables working so you don't end up with data that's all messed up.
Like orphan records and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And data validation rules, those stop bad data from getting in and messing up your whole data set.
Those are important.
Super important. And don't forget those regular checks. Using SQL queries or special tools helps you find and fix issues before they get out of hand.
Like being proactive.
Exactly. And if you've used specific database systems like Oracle, MySQL, or PostgreSQL, tell them, it shows you've actually got experience using the tools they use every day.
Makes sense.
Now, they might ask you a scenario question, like, what if you're responsible for a database and suddenly there's all these inconsistencies? How would you troubleshoot that?
Oh, good one. This is where you can really shine. Walk them through your whole process. From finding the problem to solving it, highlight your problem-solving skills and that attention to detail.
Right. Attention to detail is key. Speaking of problem-solving, data migration can be a real pain. Don't be surprised if they ask, how do you keep the data accurate when you're moving it from one system to another?
It's got to be like moving a whole library. But each book is full of fragile information that's all linked together. One wrong move, and you've got a data disaster.
Right. This question is all about showing you can handle those big, complicated data migration projects and still keep the data safe and sound.
So talk about data mapping, making sure all the data fields match up perfectly between the old and new systems, right? And data transformation, changing the data into the right format and structure.
Exactly. And don't forget data validation testing. You have to check and double check that everything moved over correctly before you can relax.
And keep everyone in the loop. Communication is key during the whole process, keeping everyone informed and working together. That's how data migration goes smoothly.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk about measuring data quality. They might ask you, how do you measure data quality?
It's not enough to just say, the data looks good, right?
Nope. You have to back it up with metrics that actually show how well your data quality efforts are working.
Okay, so what kind of metrics?
Think about things like completeness. What percentage of the data records are fully filled in? Accuracy, how much of the data is error-free?
Got it.
Consistency, making sure the data values match across different systems and data sets. Timeliness, how up-to-date is the data? And validity, does the data follow the rules and standards you've set?
Lots to keep track of.
Yeah, but important stuff. Be ready to talk about the tools and techniques you use to keep track of these metrics. Maybe you've used SQL queries to make reports, or those fancy data visualization dashboards to see how data quality is trending.
Nice. Those dashboards are pretty cool.
Right. And if you've done a specific data quality project that led to a measurable improvement, definitely share that. It shows you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
I like that. Show, don't tell.
Exactly. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture data management. They might ask, can you explain your experience with data governance frameworks?
This is where you show them you understand the strategic side of data, right? Like the policies, processes, and structures that make sure data is managed well across the whole company.
Right on. Think about those data quality standards and guidelines. What are the acceptable levels of data quality? What are the policies and procedures? Who's in charge of what?
Yeah, who does what?
Right. Don't forget about the roles and responsibilities. Data stewards, data owners, data quality analysts. Everyone's got a part to play to make sure the data is good and consistent.
Teamwork.
Yes. If you've helped create or implement a data governance framework, highlight that. It shows you know how important it is to have a big picture approach to managing data.
Okay, and remember we talked about keeping up with the latest trends and technologies?
Yeah.
This field is always changing, so you've got to show you're committed to learning new stuff.
For sure, and the RoleCatcher Career Guide really emphasizes the value of certifications, like the CDMP and CDQP Certified Data Management Professional and Certified Data Quality Professional.
It's like having a gold star, right? It shows you've really dedicated yourself to mastering your skills and staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And don't underestimate networking, going to industry events, connecting with people on LinkedIn. It's all about expanding your knowledge and building relationships that can open doors for you.
Speaking of opening doors, let's talk career growth. The RoleCatcher Career Guide shows a clear path for moving up, from data quality analyst to data quality manager, and even higher.
So when they ask about your career goals, be ready to talk about what you want to achieve and how this job fits into your long-term plan.
Like maybe you see yourself leading a team of data quality specialists or becoming an expert in a specific industry.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your answers for specific jobs and company cultures so you're putting your best foot forward.
It's like having a personalized career coach guiding you along the way.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. Behavioral questions are super common, especially for data quality roles.
They want to know how you've handled real problems, how you've actually used your skills in the past, right?
Right. So be ready for questions like, tell me about a time you found and fixed a data quality issue, or describe a time you had to work with a difficult person to fix a data quality problem.
Classic behavioral questions.
Yes. And remember the STAR method: situation, task, action, result.
Oh yeah, good one. Set the scene, what was happening, explain your task, what were you supposed to do, what actions did you take?
And the most important part, the result. What happened because of what you did? Did you improve data accuracy? Did you make things more efficient?
And use numbers whenever you can.
Yes. Numbers make your accomplishments more concrete, and people will remember them.
Okay, we've covered a lot here. But before we finish up, we have to talk about the question that can make everyone nervous. What are your salary expectations?
Oh yeah, everyone gets a little nervous about this one, but it's all about preparation. Do your research, find out the average salary for data quality specialists in your area using websites like Glassdoor or salary.com.
Good tips.
Right. Think about your experience, your skills, and what this specific job requires. And when you talk about salary, don't just throw out a random number. Give them a range that's reasonable, but also shows what you're worth.
You've got to know your worth.
For sure. And be ready to negotiate. They might counteroffer, so be prepared to talk it through and find a number that works for both of you.
So being flexible is key.
Absolutely. Now, we've covered a ton, but practice makes perfect. Use what we've talked about as a starting point. Make your answers specific to your own experiences, and use those awesome resources like RoleCatcher's AI to really nail your interviews.
Great advice. Okay, time for a quick break before we tackle that final question, the one that can really leave a lasting impression. All right, we're back. Ready for that final question? The one that can really make you stand out?
Yeah, it's the one you usually get at the end of an interview, and it can feel kind of like a throwaway, but it's really your chance to make sure they remember you and show them you're really interested.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's that simple but important question. Do you have any questions for us?
I guess
And this is not the time to just say, nope, I think you've covered it all. It's your opportunity to show them you're genuinely interested in the job, the company, the team you'd be joining.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions should we be asking?
Well, think about what you really want to know. What would help you decide if this is the right place for you?
Hmm. Yeah.
You could ask about the company culture, like what's the work environment like? Is it collaborative, fast-paced?
Good one. Yeah. Or maybe you're curious about their approach to data quality. Like, what are some of the biggest data challenges the company's facing? What tools and tech do you guys use?
Exactly. Or you could ask about professional development opportunities. What kind of training or mentorship programs are there? Can I specialize in a certain area of data quality?
Yeah, I like that.
And don't be afraid to ask about the team. What's the team structure like? What are some things the team has accomplished recently?
All great questions.
Right. And of course, you can always ask about the next steps in the hiring process. What's the timeline for making a decision? When should I expect to hear back?
Yeah. Practical stuff.
Exactly. Remember, asking thoughtful questions shows that you're curious, engaged, and really interested in the opportunity. It also gives you valuable information to help you decide if this is the right job and company for you.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
All right, we have covered so much in this deep dive. We've tackled those tough interview questions, talked about how to make your answers really stand out, and even looked at how RoleCatcher's AI can help you customize your answers for specific jobs.
We've been through a lot. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one last thought to think about as you get ready for your interview.
Ooh, I love a good challenge. Lay it on me.
Think about the impact you want to make in the data world. Data quality is about way more than just clean spreadsheets, right? It's about making sure data is used ethically, responsibly, and effectively to make a positive difference.
Absolutely.
So, what problems do you want to solve? What industries are you really passionate about? How can your love for data quality be the driving force behind it all?
Big questions.
Big, but important. Maybe you're passionate about healthcare and want to make sure patient data is used to improve treatments and save lives.
That's a powerful example.
Or maybe you're interested in finance and want to help companies make smarter decisions about investments.
So many possibilities.
The point is, no matter what you're passionate about, your skills and knowledge in data quality can make a real difference in the world.
I love that. So as you prep for your interview, don't just think about getting the job. Think about the impact you want to have.
Let that passion shine through, and you'll be well on your way to an amazing and impactful career in data quality.
And we're rooting for you every step of the way.